hitting record because I am already 2 Irish coffees deep. Something tells me Nicky and I are spending this very differently. Nick Rod here. But I'm excited. The rumor is he's going to tell us about his new book, Training with Danaher, Hookers, Blow, and Psychological Abuse. But that's still... Raph, do you want to introduce him actually? Because I've got like 4 more book titles I don't think I should say out loud.
Yeah, I'll go from here. 400 episodes, it's a big milestone. So you need a big guest. So one of my first thoughts was, big guest, who's big right now? Not just like
Kevin Nash. Whoever used to play The Undertaker. Sorry, I'm just spitballing. You should have done that before.
So you're not in the wrong sense. He is vaguely pro wrestling. I will tell you this. Originally, this young man was listed as Nick Johnson in my phone because I thought he was a Walmart version of The Rock. And it comes out closer and closer to the day. He's becoming more and more like The Rock in terms of gaining a following. However, he is a dear friend of our show. It is time to bring on, for his premiere on Verbal Tap, our good friend, Nicky Rod. Nick Rodriguez, how are you doing, sir?
What's happening, guys? Good to be here.
What are you doing right now? Just a lot of working out? Are you kind of in fuck it mode and still training? How are you spending the distancing?
Yeah, no, I've been still training every day. The lifting has been an issue though. Like literally all the gyms are closed. Even my apartment complex has a small lifting facility here, and they just shut it down even to the residents. So I'm back to the basics, back to prison workouts for the time being. But yeah, no, I've still been training jiu-jitsu and wrestling every day. Yeah, that shit don't stop me.
Prison workouts. Tough time to be Nick Rod's neighbor right now, Raph. That guy's gotten some tough night visits.
Now, Nick, here's my question that has been of concern to, I think, the community. Has this pandemic forced you to wear a shirt yet?
No, dude, I literally just got back from practice and we trained 2 hours shirtless. 86-year-old dog.
Okay, this is further on. You kind of have to stay sharp. You have a BJJ Fanatics series coming out that I believe is called Big Guy Pushing: The Art of Not Grappling. Is that accurate?
I can't release any these top secret fucking dates yet, buddy.
Okay, perfect.
Top secret stuff.
And you're sponsored by Future Kimonos, and it's worth noting you don't even wear a rash guard.
Yeah. Future Kimonos, BJJ Fanatics, yeah, you got the hook up. Yeah, no, I don't wear a rash guard unless they pay me a substantial amount of money.
I mean, that's fair.
How much to get Verbal Tap tattooed on your back? Have you started pricing that like a NASCAR yet?
Yeah, I'm pretty much in NASCAR right now. I'm a walking billboard, and I treat myself that way.
All right.
I was concerned because I feel like the minute we see you training in a rash guard, that's when we know that our world civilization is truly in danger. So like you're essentially a color scheme for us to recognize like, oh no, panic. He's got a rash guard on. Something's not right with our health here in the United States.
Exactly.
So Nicky, here's my question to you, bud. I know you're talking about prison workouts, but I only do jiu-jitsu as my form of workouts. So we're getting into a real dire situation as my main cardio has been chasing my puppy around my place, and she is over it. So obesity, here I come. What can we do at this time that doesn't involve push-ups?
Well, if you're looking to get cardio in, I'm actually doing some filming for a what's it called? God, I'm slipping words right now. Doing some filming for a shadow wrestling series. So shadow wrestling is a very underlooked and essential part of, honestly, my game. It is something I do every day before practice, and every day like competition. That's my warm up. I shadow wrestle, and it's there's many different techniques to it, but it's actually really good cardio. It's really great for the legs and keeping a good stance, and lets you visualize, the task at hand, the opponent that you're gonna see shortly. So shadow wrestling, man, will get you that cardio, and it really help you technique wise, keeping the stance and being more efficient on your feet.
I'm already exhausted thinking about shadow wrestling, but how much space do you need? Like, so you're doing a shot and then you're kind of staying on all fours and just sort of moving?
Yeah, so you don't need much space. You need about the circle of a wrestling mat, the inner circle of a wrestling mat, which may be 4 foot in diameter or something like that. So not that much space at all. I mean, I warm up, fully warm up in hallways and closet spaces if needed. So yeah, you don't need much room. You don't need a partner for it. And it really is helps you to be more efficient on the feet.
Hell yeah. More efficient. And who are you prepping for? Do you have someone in your mind right now that you're wrestling? I mean, you train with, we don't like to say a lot of nice things about Gary because, frankly, that's the surefire way to never talk to him again. Give him, and this is good. This is good dating advice for the whole Danaher Death Squad. I strongly, if you're trying to land one of these guys, just be super mean to him. Do you have an opponent in your head that you're shadow wrestling, or is it just the behemoths you train with on a regular basis?
No, it's everybody, man. I when I'm shadow wrestling, I'm envisioning, my opponents, my future opponents in front of me, attacking me and wrestling them defensively and offensively, mentally. So like, I really don't specify unless I have a competition that coming up. You know what I mean? If I had a certain person, I'll have their game plan in mind during my shadow wrestling. But besides that, I'm just working on getting better at the techniques I'm doing in my shadow wrestling.
Can I pitch something to you as a counter? Because it's all about balance. I've been practicing something called shadow lovemaking during the social distancing. Have you tried to apply this same type of forcefulness to your love life?
No, I'm more of a hands-on kind of guy.
Okay, so just to follow, wrestling, you can still get some cardio in. Sex, not interested. No shadow lovemaking for Nicky Rodriguez. All right.
No, fake sex is bad sex.
The guy doesn't even wear a shirt.
You tell that to
I can
Gary,
imagine.
okay?
I don't have sex without a rash guard on for many reasons, but that's just
Fair.
been a personal preference. No, that's pretty cool. So how do you get training in on the underground right now? Is it just a group of you that are like, fuck it, we're just going to go to the gym?
Exactly. That's exactly it.
All right.
We got a small group of 4 or 5 of us that are healthy. We plan on staying healthy and stay away from everybody else that doesn't matter and doesn't train. And we only train with each other, and we're looking out for each other. As far as training goes, we've been partners with each other for a long time, so we know how to roll and how to roll efficiently and when to turn it up and whatnot. But yeah, we've been getting really good sessions, and man, there's no stopping here. So while everybody's taking breaks, I'm pulling overtime.
Like a whole underground. It's like Fast and the Furious for grappling right now, Raph. There's just a ton of people doing this, from the West Coast to the East Coast, because grapplers, they're going to grapple. Fighters are going to fight. Go ahead. Sorry, I've just got a Paul Walker, Vin Diesel thing in my head now that I can't shake, and I love it.
You're not wrong. And I think one thing people have been considering a lot is how long until they go back. And that's been a huge issue. But I actually want to go back to this mental wrestling game and you implementing your game and knowing that that's what you can control. One thing that you guess couldn't control was engagement. We recently had an event where there was tag team wrestling and it was awkward. And I want to get your take on it because you and Vinny and whatever diseases, this is all Craig Jones's fault if I'm really thinking about it. But can you take us through your recollection of the last Submission Underground event? Because to us, it looked odd, but go on.
Yeah. So going into the match, right? Our me and Craig's game plan was to pull Vinny, or whoever was going out first, to our corner, and then do a bunch of tags and attempts to get submissions, but just hold them in our corner. So that's our original game plan. So literally whistle blows and Vinny just sits on Kyle's toes. So every time I engage, if I was to fully engage, I'd be exposing my back to Kyle, which in turn he would just hop on my back because there's not like Vinny can tag Kyle's foot and then Kyle can just engage me, you know what I mean, while I'm in Vinny's guard. So it was just what really needs to happen is we need like a set rule, like stalling calls. You know what I mean? Maybe we get a point or you lose a point for stalling call, something like that, to enforce like engagement. Sucks for the fans. They don't want to see boring matches like that. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. They beat us strategically, and shit happens. Man, we live and learn.
We got to go. You're already deeply. I don't like how respectful this interview's starting out, Raph. You hear him? Let's be respectful of the rules. This is where you got to smash. Nick Rod, you go just attack Kyle Boehm, let Craig Jones get in on some Vinny, see about testing those unbreakable knees, and let pandemonium and chaos go.
I feel like I really don't need to, because 2 weeks or a week and a half prior, I had a match with Vinny and Kyle the same day, and I whooped both their asses pretty easily. So, I didn't really need to prove a point. And even in Submission Underground, completely shut down anything Vinny tried to do. He just ran from me. Kyle, they started him on my back, and he ended up holding on longer. Couldn't get a submission. This is his game, and he couldn't sub a purple belt. That's his second EBI event ever. So I don't have anything to complain about or prove. When it was actually go time, when it's a real match, I got on top, I got to their backs, and I got in dominant positions every single time.
Yeah, and I'm watching. I don't know if running is the right answer. Vinny's currently got his ass concreted to the mat, and his anything anyone's ever made fun of Keenan about, Vinny's doing right now. He is boot scooting backwards, and it's not going great.
Yeah. I mean, because they found out what I'm capable of, a week or two prior to that, so they just want no part of it. I'm the kind of athlete that's I'm not only going for the sub, I'm there to hurt you. You know what I mean? Especially those two, I'm not big fans of them. So when I get my hands on them, it's always a bad day. So they want the tag team thing strategically, but in the odds that I do see them, whether that be ADCC or another event. Like I said, I'm just progressing at a rapid pace, and I'm continuing to do so. So, by the time I do run into them, it's just going to be even worse. I can guarantee submissions on both ends.
I'm happy to hear this perspective, because one thing I know about you is that you like to actually have a clash. Like you thrive in those situations. So when you have an opponent that seems like they're disengaging at any point, it seems like it's making you matter. And I can appreciate that. But I want to ask, because I guess the fallout of these events is that everybody goes on social media and talks shit, and yet you don't. You kind of just post your shit and get in, get out. Like, are you amused by any of this? Because I know you have to see it. But when you see people like Vinny, and then I guess Kyle, and then even Gordon, everybody has a take on what this is. But in actuality, there wasn't a whole bunch of stuff that happened. So what is your take when you see, I guess, the fallout and the explanations of like, oh, we knew that he was going to be hyper aggressive, so we didn't?
Yeah. Social media is a game. It's a way to create income and have some fun. So I take everything with a grain of salt, man. I take it very lightly. I don't let that shit really bother me. But with that said, I like my actions to speak. I like to go out there and tell a story with the way I move and the way I compete. That's why the whole Black Belt Slayer thing is just caught on so well and so fast, because I was able to kind of let people know, along the way, along my road to ADCC, what I was doing, how I was having success, and then I displayed that fully, come ADCC and every event post ADCC. So yeah, I like to let my actions do the speaking.
And you've been on quite a tear, which is one of the fun parts of this. You've become a grappler people just enjoy watching, people definitely enjoy booking. Has anyone pitched like a 2-on-1 match to you yet? Because truthfully, if they were like, Kevin, we want you to fight Nicky Rodriguez, we'd be like, great, me and who else is on my team versus him. So has that been something they've pitched at all? It's like, let's see how many purple belts Nicky Rod can submit in a row.
I pretty much had that with Kyle and Vinny. They tag teamed up, and Craig kind of sat in the corner. So it's not that far off. You know what I mean? I can hold my own. If they want to do a 2-on-1, I'd be all for it.
Around minute 7, Craig looks a little too comfortable watching you do the work. As a matter of fact, he looks like he's really enjoying it.
Craig's a big fan of Nicky Rod, so we have good chemistry out there.
I mean, understandable. And I mean, Craig really likes people who carry the load for him because, it was funny. So Craig and I messaged, I think it was after Submission Underground, and he messaged me and he's like, was it really that bad? And I was like, it wasn't good, Craig. I don't know how to tell you this. And he was telling me before he made it public, but he was saying he was trying to give the money back. Did you at any point try to stop him and say, like, Craig, no, don't give the money back. Just give it to me. And no problem.
No. So I know he felt bad because he was able to compete. Now he was sick of their competition. So but again, if the only thing is right, if Craig just told me like, so just any time before competition that like, yo, I definitely can't do the overtime round, I would have had a game plan. I'm not the level where I can just like game plan off the back and change what I have to do like right away. Like, yeah, I have I can do those things more so on my feet, but when it comes to the ground stuff, it's like, fuck, I really have to sit there and think about it. So if I had more of a game plan going into overtime, I wouldn't have forgot simple things. I had some mistakes with head position, hand fighting, and I didn't even chase like a back triangle. So a couple of those, skipped mental notes are easily preventable by having a game plan. So if he would told me like 10 minutes before, like, yo, I fucking feel terrible, I just knew that he was sick. But sick to me still sounds like you're going to work that same day, So
right.
If I went in there with a game plan, we would have had a better outcome. But I live and learn, and now I know I always have to have plan for the worst. So it's a rookie mistake on my part.
Well,
no problem.
Rookie, almost. But that's bullshit, Ralph. I'm not giving him rookie status anymore. I appreciate it, but post ADCC, you're now a veteran, sweetheart. This is the Danaher thing. You can already tell. Danaher's like, you're brand new. You've got nothing but opportunity.
Yeah.
Well, so one of the fun parts, you did a little Bernardo Faria showing off the cartwheel pass. You're still in the point where, like, I get why black belts like teaching moves, right? They're trying to show, but you're still in this place where you're kind of developing your game. Do you have a small spitefulness where you're like, fuck that, I shouldn't show people my bread and butter cartwheel? Or are you just, you're good to go? You're like, fuck it, they'll make me better.
No, I think it's awesome, dude, because I posted that thing, on social media, and I had hundreds of people sending me videos of them actually like doing the moves in practice and attempting it in competition. So definitely not just nationwide, but I had a worldwide kind of outbreak of that style pass. I've had so many different people from different countries kind of trying to do the same style pass as me and tag me and stuff. So it's good, man. No hard feelings. So any content I put out there, it's for the better. It's about better everybody.
Raph and I won't even show each other our moves. We're
no.
like, no. Let's not talk about what we've been working on this week, just in case.
I actually would.
Well, the thing is, right? Like if I show you guys a move, I'm not doing my job if I stop drilling that move. If I should be drilling that move, every move that I know, or constantly. I constantly want to improve. So if you run a move today, 6 months from now, I'm going to be way better at that move than I was with the day that I showed you. And same thing, you'll be catching up to me because I've learned it first.
All right.
Yes,
he's way nicer than he looks, Raph. He's all tatted up and shirtless, and now he just seems like a softie.
I know. It's a real difference of how it appears on TV. Nick, here's an important thing that I think we also need to discuss, which is there seems to be this never-ending crossover between wrestling and jiu-jitsu. You speak both languages. How do we make this an actual thing? Because on the one hand, you can get a submission and you get someone to give up. And on the other hand, you can beat somebody in 20 seconds. And yet, to me, they both look like excellence in their crafts. And yet the internet is still talking nonsense. So to me, how do we make something like this exciting going forward? Because it seems like it's still in completely different realms.
So what I think is that we take We take a hybrid match. So like something like ADCC is so good because it really is a blend of both of these sports, right? But the only kind of thing that hinders it is the ability for these guys to pull guard. Now, I don't mean pull guard as far as like pull guard and attack. I'm talking about the guys that just pull guard and kind of back away. They're playing the whole game defensively. Now, if we could eliminate that as far as maybe have like a stall call or some kind of disadvantage point, you know what I mean? To create constant action. I think that makes for scrambles, and the scrambles is really where the gray area lies. You know, that's where the jiu-jitsu and the wrestling kind of meshes into its own sport. I think the more we have that, the more entertaining the sport's going to become. And I think we're going to get into the realm of, you know, stalling calls equal maybe a negative point or a positive point for the opponent. I think that would make for more action and kind of blend the sports a little bit better together.
Because, like, if you see Gordon going off and saying, like, actually, I can get 19 different takedowns on 19 different people if you put them in front of me, and it's proven because scientifically I've done it. Do you ever just kind of go to him and be like, hey, bro, you know, maybe not as much, you know, just like 10% less would be good?
No, I mean, he does his own thing. The thing is, like, he doesn't just talk. He says facts. You know what I mean? So, like, if he says he can do something, chances are he's going to be able to do it. You know, I've seen him take down some serious wrestlers.
Except retirement.
Well,
he
you would be the
retirement.
only one to have seen
he
it. So,
really blew it.
The rest of us are still waiting to see it at some point because that's the fun part to us. You know, I mean, but here's the nice part.
Takedown to us is always ADCC. You know, not like wrestling scoring. So like takedown, control your guy for 3 seconds on the ground. That's what I'm referring to as a takedown, not just like sitting his butt on the mat and letting him scramble back up.
There we go. Okay, so yeah, no, I get what you're putting down there. It's just really like it just doesn't look right, and I feel that the spirit is in good faith. Like, I think people are interested in seeing it, but when you know there are going to be these blowouts and they're hyping it up and, you know, all of us are looking at it. And my favorite comment that you see afterwards is, well, we knew exactly what we do going in. The person at wrestling is really good at wrestling, and the person at jiu-jitsu is really good at jiu-jitsu. So to me, I just think I think there's some way that we can get this together, because I do like the idea of wrestling fans watching us and understanding us better, because I have an appreciation for wrestlers. I know how hard it is, and I think it's really cool that they're taking more and more interest in what we do. So I'm all for it. It's just I hate the idiocracy that happens after it.
It really is an interesting matchup, like, because it's such a different cardio on the body. Like me versus Gordon, for instance. If Gordon's starting on his butt, he's butt scooting, attacking whatever he's attacking, he can literally sit there and attack for hours and not get tired. His core won't get sore. He can go offensively from the bottom, not stop. Now, if you stand us up, it's the complete opposite. As I would be tired on the ground, he's tired standing up, and I'm like, I could fucking hand play it and take shots for hours, no problem. So when you have a Pat Downey versus Gordon Ryan kind of match, you know, those kind of cardios are totally in different realms. So it still makes for interesting, man. I think eventually, you know, we're gonna have a lot of jiu-jitsu athletes that develop their wrestling game highly, and vice versa. You know, we're going to have a lot of wrestlers that have high-level jiu-jitsu in the near future, especially, you know, going into the next ADCC.
And I have some questions about this, because you're kind of hitting at it, but you fought Pat Downey, who's a very large human being, and for someone not at that competitive level, he would rip right through me, for example. My jiu-jitsu would be okay, but pretty ineffective against someone as athletic and that high level of wrestling. Is it a similar difference? Because you're kind of comparing it to Gordon, but you fought Buchecha, you fought Kenyon Darte. Those are sort of the behemoths that kind of have that softer jiu-jitsu style, as opposed to someone like Pat Downey who has a very aggressive wrestling style. What do you notice as key differences in how they fight you or how you fight them?
Well, somebody like Pat Down is going to come at you hard because in his mind he only has 6 minutes to go as hard, score as many points as he can in those 6 minutes. So his body is adapted, it's trained to have fast twitch muscles, to be super explosive, and then go dead silent on the pace, and then explode again, and then go back to hand fighting. And then in the realm of like somebody like Duarte in the ADCC game, it's more based on defensive wrestling. Like he wants you to shoot down on him so he can score, so he can make a scramble and score. He wants you to and it's more of a slower pace, because you can have a 20-minute match, and the finals potentially 40-minute match. So you definitely you pace yourself a lot more as opposed to a wrestling match.
If you're a jiu-jitsu person out there right now, who should we go look at? Because this is obviously a tough time of year for a lot of reasons, but one of the times I definitely tune into college wrestling is for the NCAA championship. Because if you want to get tired while watching television, that will do it. But you've got some people across. I mean, Bo Nichols, somebody that I would initially throw out. Who would you throw out as some people that jiu-jitsu athletes can go Google and get some ideas and some wrestling tips while they're distancing?
I mean, it really sucks that NCAA isn't happening this year because of everything that's going on. But Flow Wrestling has tons of videos and highlights that you can check out. For me, I watch more of the big boys. The heavyweights, like Anthony Cesar. I watch some Stephen Gable. I like to get a lot of diversity when I'm watching any type of wrestling, jiu-jitsu. But yeah, if you have some time, definitely you guys got to go on there and take a look. Just seeing and visualizing these guys, how much more athletic they move than guys that grapple. Like it really is. It's like wrestling makes you into an athlete, even if you're not coordinated, if you're not fast, if you're not flexible. These movements that they do in the wrestling practices definitely makes you into an athlete, makes your body more aware and knows how to move a lot better. So, a little bit of everything, man, for sure.
Oh yeah. There's shadow wrestling videos. A lot of I've got an inclination to start some of those. That's just proving how desperate my social interaction is getting in the near future. So we'll keep you posted. Maybe sometime we'll have to get a bet together and find out how Nicky Rod shadow wrestles, because I'm familiar with shadow boxing, but this one's completely new to me. So I'll
tell you this much: the people who can rear window into my place will definitely be like, and Raf's officially lost it.
Is that guy who lost his mind? Does he think he's with someone?
He looks like he's celebrating an imaginary takedown. Good for him.
You and I would spend most of our time celebrating, not actually working harder.
Listen, we have a wrestling class, and I will go to it, and I'll tell you this much: the difference between people's reactions when they say, "Hey, we're gonna do this. It's 2 minutes. Keep it up," and then everybody goes, "Oh, I left it on 3 minutes." The look on everybody's face of like, "Why would you do that to us?" Of like 1 minute difference in wrestling versus jiu-jitsu is like overthrowing and killing the person who fucked up. But yeah, no, it is quite the best workout there is. Nicky Rod, here's the thing, dude. You were supposed to be at Polaris. It looks like they're keeping you home because they're keeping all UK athletes. So that's sad. What is in the horizon for you, sir?
Just watching a lot of weeds. What are you watching and getting ready for?
I had like a ton of seminars and like 3 or 4 matches lined up. But yeah, everything's canceled, dude. Like people are just dropping dead over here in the Northeast. Everybody's freaking out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have it.
There's just not much going on at all.
I mean, you guys have it hit the hardest, and I feel like we're gonna regroup. Once we get a hold of what all is actually happening, and I think that people will at least get back to it. So I just like the idea that once it's all said and done, is there somebody that you have in mind that you would like to have a match with? Because at this point, you've already had a who's who list of people on our side. Or do you even have
I want to beat the guys I lost to. I want Duarte. I lost to Barbosa. Some EBI overtime round for the BJ Fanatics. So I'd like to get those wins back in my pocket for sure.
Word.
BJJ Fanatics, you can keep an eye on them for what he's got coming out. Future kimonos, if in a month you're in the mood for a kimono, or any of their just no-gi equipment as well. Nicky Rod, we're big fans. The community are big fans, and we cannot tell you how much we appreciate you coming on. And sorry we didn't get to more Gary Tonin insults. Come back on. We will get to them.
No problem, guys. I really appreciate you guys having me.
The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is... Please note, the new number is